All right. Hello, coffee makers, not coffee takers. He is the master of cyber farms, Alfredzo Jr., and I am the people's chief, Dr. Joseph J. Miller Jr. We are your hosts for the Cyber Coffee Hour. Alfredzo and I hail from Mount Vernon, New York, and we are excited to share our experiences and stories along with those of our incredible guests. Our mission is to impart knowledge, enhance understanding, and cultivate a sense of community in the expansive world of cyberspace. So for today's show, we will have a coffee chat with UX designer and co-founder at Tech Queenz, April Barker. Now, April Barker is a seasoned entrepreneur and communication specialist, passionate about empowering others through technology and leadership. With a degree in communications, she has leveraged her skills to launch multiple successful ventures, including her current endeavor, Tech Queenz. Before founding Tech Queenz, April established herself as a force in the literary world through Empire of Dreams from 2015 to 2017. There, she coached first-time authors to publish their debut works, including notable titles such as Naked by Romello Vaughn, Prayers for Him, 52 Weeks of Strategic Prayers for Men by Stacey S. Davis, and 13 Lessons for Every Teen Girl's Journey to Womanhood by Kizzy Cottrell-Dogan. During the challenging times brought on by the COVID pandemic, April pivoted her career yet again, training volunteers in trust-based relationship intervention for youth recovering from sex trafficking. This experience led her to a pivotal role at the #1 job site in the world, where she contributed significantly to optimizing ads for digital hiring events to raise support efforts for the unemployed. Her journey in the tech industry began with an invitation to participate in the beta testing of Black Genius Academy, a groundbreaking career exploration app for aspiring tech professionals. This opportunity ignited her passion for UX design, prompting her to enroll in and graduate from a scholarship-funded boot camp at Hackbright Academy. Alongside her boot camp capstone peers, April co-founded Tech Queenz, a forward-thinking UX design consulting firm and product design company. Together, they are dedicated to shaping user experiences and driving empathy and innovation in the tech sector. April's relentless pursuit of excellence and commitment to empowering others exemplify her as a visionary business and community advocacy leader. April Barker, welcome to the Cyber Coffee Hour.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So for one, just want to go around, like, how's everyone doing? April, I'll start with you. Like, how's your weekend been so far?
I'm enjoying it. We have some milder weather here in Texas, and so that's always nice when I can feel a breeze. It's going good.
Okay, nice. Alfredzo.
Little drained today. It is a little gloomy outside. I don't know if that has something to do with it, but I'm feeling a little drained today, and I'm gonna probably do some coffee experimentation to get some energy.
Yeah. Same here. Yeah, I'm experiencing that same weather forecast, but I was able to hit the gym early this morning, and I feel okay. But I look forward to just trying to take it easy. Got some football on deck, so just look forward to try to have an easy day. All right, so again, we have April Barker here on the Cyber Coffee Hour, part of the Alive Podcast Network. So, April, we had the distinct honor and pleasure of attending the Google I/O conference this past summer.
Yeah.
So, I'll just start off, like, how was Google I/O for you? How was your experience?
It was excellence. And, as an entrepreneur, excellence and action really excites me. And so everything about it, the people, it was so exciting. And then I had this big takeaway that developers are actually delightful. And that was the big breakthrough for me.
Sometimes, yeah.
No, really, I was like, oh, okay. So I connected and collaborated with developers, and that was huge for me because, we hadn't had I hadn't had that opportunity yet. And so to have breakthrough with them by sitting at the keynote address and listening to Sundar and all the amazing things that they talked about, the synergy was amazing. Their presentation was excellent. It was seamless. And Of course, as a professional, as an entrepreneur, I appreciated that. And everybody that spoke had ownership of the different things they were presenting. And the time flew by. It was an exciting time.
No, that's cool. So for me, that was, of course, that was my first first time ever going to, I guess, a Google I/O event. Then also too, that was my first time in California. Period.
Oh,
Oh,
So
wow.
it was
really?
a lot of firsts. Yeah. So
Nice.
I actually had some family that lives out there. So my cousin, he was telling me. I mean, he pretty much could be a tour guide because
Wow.
anything I said that I was trying to do, all right, he gave me like 5 different places to
Wow.
go, and I was like, oh man, I
That's
should.
good. It's good to have a
But
family
no,
member like that.
I went to In and Out.
Okay.
People tell me to go there. I tried it out.
Okay.
It was honestly, it was okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was.
That
It
means
was.
you didn't get the secret menu.
See, I learned about the secret menu after I already
Right. That
went
would.
there. So I don't know. So maybe if I had that, maybe it would have been better.
I hadn't
But no,
heard about the secret menu, but I'm not a fan of the fries. I need a little bit
Mm.
yeah, the
more.
fries were blah. Yeah, I was trying to be nice. I was trying to be nice, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, the
We're being
fries
nice.
were.
Okay, I'm I
the
got that.
fries, the fries were. I'm
Yeah.
good on the fries.
Mhm.
So, but for April, you've had a diverse career path from coaching authors to founding a nonprofit
Yeah.
and running a tech company. So, how have your experiences in different industries shaped your approach to leadership and entrepreneurship?
I just want to say, like, listen to the voice inside of you. If you really look back over history of your life, you probably were doing entrepreneurship as a young child. Most of us,
Mm.
we're
Mm-hmm.
created to create, and so I think that not muting that voice, not quieting that voice, but getting it out. And so I've been running things. My three brothers would say, I was the only girl. And so I look back and being the only girl, feeling that loneliness, and then understanding that, yeah, leaders can be lonely. So as I reflect over my life, I've seen that's been a pattern. And I had to learn through working for other people that, you have to catch the vision of the visionary. And you're going to have a lot of ideas as a creative and as an entrepreneur when you're working for someone else, and you write those down and you put them to the side because they're not always going to be, executed. So I think just listening to my voice and understanding that, you're amazing and you're an entrepreneur, whether you're making money or not. So
Right.
it's not, you want to make money, but
Right.
don't quiet that voice because one day something's going to hit and you're
Right.
going to be able to do it full time. So don't give up.
Sage advice. Sage advice.
Yeah.
Right. So, can you tell us a little bit about your experience with trust-based relationship intervention during the COVID-19 pandemic and how it influenced your perspective on technology, role, and social
Yeah.
impact?
Yeah. So I think as a community of people, we are always volunteering. Like we don't know like life without giving back. And so what I've had to do and what I had to learn in working in the nonprofit space is the differences of how we run things. And so let me know if I'm going, a different direction. But basically, I noticed that in other cultures, they get that funding and they'll tell you, we're building the plane as we're flying it. And that's so stressful for me as a Black person, because going to a HBCU all my life, having to dot the I's, cross the T's, double do due diligence. It was very
Right.
stressful in the roles that I've had, in the pioneering roles in the companies I've worked for. I was the first Black in leadership in several companies, the first Black female in leadership role. And so that was really kind of hard for me to see that. But then I had to deconstruct my mind and I had to say, you need to see how this is run, because you're going to be an opportunity yourself to say, we're building the plane as we're flying it. And so for me, I think the trust-based intervention was another deconstruction of the mind, because it was more like, I'm helping you. These are the rules, follow the rules, and you can get this help. Well, trust-based relationship intervention came in where it says, I've got to build trust with you. Because if I'm honest about my life experiences, I have been where you are. You are just still there. And so I've been in a low place. I've been in a place where I needed assistance. And so I'm not going to come at you as if I can't walk alongside you and have empathy. And so it's really the impartation of empathy in your assistance to other people. And you're building trust by basically having a meal. When I see you, we're going to eat and we're going to talk. And yes, I know your situation, but I'm not going to talk about it until you bring it up. I'm here for you and to get to learn you as an individual and as a person. And so that's building that trust that says, I'm in this for the long haul. As long as
Right.
you want me here, I'm going to be here for you in whatever way. And if you never come out of what you're in, if you never decide to come out of it, I'm going to walk with you through it. And so
100%. And so that empathy and that perspective on empathy, that helped boost your understanding of their role in social impact and what they were trying to accomplish.
definitely, because I think your impact when you have empathy shows that, you're not looking down on me. We're on the same level and I'm understanding where you are. And because I'm understanding where you are, I can probably meet a need and you'll
Right.
feel comfortable sharing with me the need. And so we're both doing what we need to do on each side of the relationship. And I do believe, as we can see now in the tech industry, we all have ups and downs. And so nobody can predict when I will need some assistance from someone else.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that plays well into our next question. What inspired you to transition from your work at the #1 job site in the world to pursue UX design? And how has your background in communications contributed to your success in this field?
It was more than an inspiration. It was more like I was pushed into a pivot by a layoff. And so I went from one layoff in the anti trafficking land because the lack of funding. My program ran out, and so then I was, online looking for jobs, and 3 a.m, and so then I get this interview, and it was contract work. And so with the contract work, I don't know, it's so amazing because you're in there doing everything. And coming from an HBCU, I like to have my hand in everything. I want to know everything. I want to keep learning. And so the contract work was amazing. And that's how I got pushed into tech, because that contract ended, right? And so, but before it ended, and I want to say this, just think about the end from beginning. Understand that we're in a time where things come to an end faster than usual. And so because I had been laid off before, I had implemented a pay your bills ahead 3 months at a time. So I was already doing that. And I had implemented, okay, find some free upskilling, find something, because that's what contract work was. We can stretch this and finesse this contract if you are finding value and adding value to what's happening. And so that's what was going on. We kept adding value until there was just absolutely no need for us anymore. And so here comes Black Genius Academy. Rochelle Olden, Ruben Harris. It's Tech Equity Collective. Was founded by Googlers like Rochelle, who said we want to help Blacks get into tech with no cost. And so going through the Career Exploratory app, you're able to go through, see people that look like you, and people who are saying, look, you can be a cybersecurity. You can go in cybersecurity, software engineering, or UX design. Being an entrepreneur, wanting to talk to everybody on every level, I was like, I want to do UX design. And so that's how I got into that. It was free. I didn't really push into the free courses because I was still working. But as I began to see the writing on the wall, I was like, I need to get into some of these boot camps. I need to do something. So I have to say 100% free through Coursera, through Black Genius Academy and the initiative to help us upskill as people, and through the boot camp at Hackbright Academy, all free.
And it sounded like you had your own disaster recovery plan there to allow yourself to onboard to those experiences.
So I did. That first time I knew, like, okay, you have severance, but just being Black in America, you're not oftentimes paid what you should be paid. So my roles were coordinator roles, but I was directing, and so I knew, like, okay, you have to know how to budget. And again, we have our volunteer stuff we do, we have our side job that we do, we have our full-time job, and we run our households very well. And so just knowing that this money has to, stretch. So yes.
Right. 100%.
Wow. So as a co-founder of Tech Queenz, what unique challenges and opportunities do you see for women and underrepresented groups in the tech industry today?
Let me run it back. So Tech Queenz was birthed out of the boot camp. It's so amazing if you're just open to learning. And what I want to say is when you're in opportunities, don't wait till the end to start warming up and talking and asking questions. Because that's what
Right.
a lot of us did. And it was like, man, all these people are dope. And I've been over here not wanting to ask questions because I want to act like I know. I'm talking for me. Like, I don't want to be the one who doesn't know. And it's like, no, y'all all don't know. This is a learning opportunity, right?
Right.
And so for me, at the end, it was like, do you want to partner with me? So we got together and the bond was formed in I'm sleeping today. Like we're in the evenings working. And so then we started bonding in the fact of, I almost quit last week because, just the empathy and the humanity of this is really hard. And so we each had an idea and we pitched the idea for an app for women on the verge of burnout. Because oftentimes we just coast. We just keep going. We're like, what does it mean not to be burned out? I really don't know. And so we started developing that. We knew there were layoffs while we were like, right when we were graduating, here come UX design layoffs. And it was like, oh my gosh, well, here's Tech Queenz. I know how to publish. So I'm going to go to Amazon. I'm going to create a journal in Canva. We're going to publish this journal. We're going to sell this journal at tech conferences, and to all the tech people we meet, we're going to tell them, here's a journal for the journey. Tech Queenz went to AI, got a logo. And so I said, hey, we're putting on our resume that we have a consulting group called Tech Queenz. We're going to collaborate. We're going to take projects. We're going to build our portfolio. We're going to keep the momentum going in the event that we don't get hired right away. And so that's what we did. That's how it was birthed, out of necessity to keep the momentum and just out of collaboration within the boot camp, saying, I really like you guys. And, we've built trust through the fire. Let's keep going. And that's what we're doing. We're keeping going. And I have to say, yes, the competition is a competition. And because we're new to the field, I'm very new. I don't know how long y'all have known about UX design. I've known about 2 years, but in some of my classes, there were people who've been in it 15 years, 20 years. And I'm like, wow, that's crazy. So.
And it's definitely competitive too. Through those 15 years, there's been laws of high stakes competition. Yeah. And it's applause to you and your crew of Tech Queenz that stayed resilient through that competitive upswing and downturn, because I've heard over the years it's getting more competitive.
Yeah, if our cities can create new highways and lanes, then so can we. I mean, they do it. They want to do it, take forever. So it's just creating a lane for yourself and being open to collaboration and believing in yourself. So that's what Tech Queenz is doing right now.
Awesome.
I really love what you said, that it was born out of necessity.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times when we're more or less backed into a corner, that's when our creativity really sparks. Like when the choices are taken away from us, like this is what you got to do. Like there's no plan B, C, D. You know what I'm saying? Like this is it. This has to work. You know, and that's when you really. I think that's for a lot of folks, because also you see on the other side some kind of sink in, and they just allow certain things to happen, or or I shouldn't say that, they just accept what it is and don't really do anything about the situation. But others, they see what's happening. Okay, I'm gonna do something about it. All right, I'm gonna take this step. You have that motivation, you have that drive, and no, I really applaud that, because I know for myself, I believe I've been in that situation numerous times. So when you have those choices removed from you, and like, this is what you got to do, you know what I'm saying? So no, I really love that. I love to hear that. And I think, especially for our listeners out there, if you're in similar situations and, you kind of backed into that proverbial corner, look at that as opportunity to, all right, this is the time to get it done. This is what it is. So no, I just wanted to point that out, because I thought that was very profound.
100%. I think what I heard too from April is you got to allow yourself to become built different, right? So under the gun, under the pressure, you got to allow yourself to learn how to build that resilience out and get through the adversity, because it is what it is, right? It is that adversity that it sounds like you were going through and also preparing for, and allowing yourself to accept being built different under the gun. And now it's all stakes in, and I have to run these routes. So I applaud that. And that's for our listeners too. You have to accept being becoming that, individual that's built different to learn how to be resilient and endure some of these circumstances that's coming your way.
Yeah.
Right.
I think
So
it's, I was going to say just not partnering with defeat, because you're going to partner with
I
something.
like that.
So you got to partner, with those who are saying, I'm going for it, and humbling yourself. So somebody trying to humble you, you can't. I'm already low. I'm looking up. I'm going up. You can't stop me.
Right.
100%.
So April, so looking back at your journey from Empire of Dreams to Tech Queenz, like what advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs who want to make a positive impact through technology and innovation?
This is like, I'm living this. You've got to elevate everything, because you can't help the people around you if you're giving from a negative. So I can invite you over to eat rice and beans with me and be, but that's not encouraging. We're just going to keep eating rice and beans together. But if I elevate and I say, you know what, here's some rice, you take that home, you cook that. And I go over here and I say, I've got to learn something that's going to give me more value. And I've got to get quiet with other people who I've helped before, but I don't have anything else to teach them. I've got to learn more so I can keep teaching and keep elevating. I think that that's important. Deconstructing my mind to say, I'm not leaving you behind. I'm just going on a journey. I'm going to stay in touch when I can, and I'm definitely going to come back and get you. So putting on your Harriet mode and saying, freedom, I'm making the journey to freedom. I don't know, but I know where I'm going. I'll know when I get there. I just know I have to be free, and I can't stay here. And so that's been the hard part, deconstructing my mind to understand that you're not leaving people behind. You're gaining knowledge that you can share and help them.
100%. That sounds like real pioneer work. You're going to come back and settle them once you've laid the groundwork.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And I think also with that too, I hear what you're saying, but like also I think for me, like when you do have maybe that difference of opinion or I'd say even just a different mindset, when you have, whether in your inner circle or not, or those who, may want to support you, but if they have a different mindset and it's not really supportive, or it's I would even say kind of weighing you down. I think sometimes you have to make that decision, like, look, I'm going this way, you're still over here. I can't do this anymore, because trying to bring you on and you're not, I have to make, sometimes you have to make a decision. It's like, look, I have to, whether just cut people off because they're just not, more or less, they're just not good for you and what you're trying to do and what you're trying to accomplish. Sometimes you do have to change your circle of try and get around those who are, of the same mindset, those who can help elevate you, help you get to that next level. So there is that part of that too, where, sometimes you do have to make those hard decisions, and you may have to, leave some people, behind, more or less, because they just either they refuse to get it or they just don't want to get it, like whatever the case is. But you know what you want to do, what it takes to get there, and if you already kind of lay out the plan for folks and they still don't want to, more or less support, then all right, well, I have to let's go our separate ways then.
100%. I think go ahead. Sorry,
I was just gonna say, like, understanding that sometimes it's us. People have been waiting for us to move around, and we just standing there trying to hold on. And it's like, I don't even, like, we're talking about the past every time we see each other. We're not creating anything together. So,
right.
And that's friendships, relationship, family members. Like, I used to hate that expression, reason, season, lifetime, but what I've learned is, April, when something agitates you, you need to really listen again and dig deep into why you're aggravated, because oftentimes it's something I really need to embrace. And so I learned during the pandemic that where I was in a lot of people's lives, because everybody kind of locked in with my top 3, my top 5, or whomever, me and mine. And so I had to let go of some relationships during that time that were so one-sided, but it wasn't their fault. It was mine. It was me.
So I think it's a learning opportunity too. When you're set in your ways and you may or may not know on a more, let's say aspirational point, they'll learn when you depart.
Yeah.
They'll learn, they'll look at you as the leader, like, hey, what caused us to grow separate? What caused us to take different paths? And then they'll, in that separation, right? The fondness would grow, and they'll say, "Hey, look how much that person's grown. I think I should reconnect. I think I should see what's going on with them because I might want to step my game up now." So it's not always like y'all split ways and never come back. The journey might unfold and they say, "Hey, that person was great. That relationship was great. That experience is great. I can learn from their departure." Right. So a lot of what I've seen, especially in the industry, like you said, with family and in our field, right, in cybersecurity, it takes you on that journey, whether you like it or not. And folks eventually catch up to you and they're like, "Well, how did you do that?
Yeah.
How did you become successful in this field that I keep hearing is so competitive?" Well, I just got down. I remember when I took part. Remember I took off. Remember when I left this part of town. So a lot of times it has that. We don't recognize it because we're, like you said, we're full steam ahead. We're dealing with burnout and we're dealing with pioneering. We're dealing with like a lot of the obstacles in the way. But the folks that you've left will notice it, and they'll become curious. They're like, "How did you do that?" And that's when you come back and like, look, this is a coaching opportunity. This is an opportunity that we could do it together. If you want to. As some people don't. Some people don't want to go through that journey, and you don't have to. But if you want to reach back and understand the mentee of mentors or mentorship type opportunity, there it is. It was given to you.
Yeah. So we have April Barker here on the Cyber Coffee Hour, part of the Alive Podcast Network. So we're going to shift gears a bit. Let's learn a little bit more about April. Maybe get a little more, fun side of things as well. So April, what do you feel in your opinion? Like, what are the most significant emergent threats in cybersecurity today, and how should organizations prepare for them?
Cybersecurity, I would say, let's see. Stop being fearful. Get ready. Sometimes we're having these discussions that are wasting time. And I think that you need too many people are laying off. We need to hire more. And let's see. I'm not an expert on cybersecurity, but I would say everything is moving quickly. And for what I'm seeing, the certifications never stop. When there is a breach, there's a little bit more responsibility in terms of letting people know. But I think it's important for the individual to take precautions in advance, because out of every company that's saying this happened, there's probably, I don't know, I don't have the numbers, but there's so many that aren't letting you know. And so if you have the capacity to learn, do that. I don't, not yet. I haven't been pushed there. So I'm not a cybersecurity expert, but don't be scared. Know that you will be breached. It's going to happen, and don't be shocked. This is a part of tech, and it's going to happen. So that's the little bit of what I could say about cybersecurity. And when I went into the Career Exploratory app, one of the things that I was like, I won't go that way, is they said, when there's a breach, you're locked in for days, you're locked in for, however long it takes for you to secure it. And so I was like, oh no, like that's your life. And so it may seem like there are some boring days, but trust me, the days that you're on.
So with, and thank you for that. And so part of that too, like when we're talking about, of course, cyber, but we also saw, as I mentioned, kind of going back to Google I/O, we saw this past summer, we saw a very big mixed bag of experiences, backgrounds. So just want to touch on that a bit. So from your experience, do you feel that experience going to Google I/O or even conferences like that? Do you think those type of things are productive or conducive to a successful career, especially for you, for what you're doing? Yes. Do you think those type of conferences, meetups, what have you, the networking opportunities that come with that, do you think those are important for someone like an entrepreneur, those who are trying to get started with their own companies?
I'm going to say 1000% yes, because as a UX designer, when you're looking at what is user-centered, we know that the mindset of engineers or maybe developers is more black and white. So we need the splashes of color to understand the rest of the world outside of being behind the screen. And so one of the things when I said developers are delightful is that I got a compliment from a developer when I was talking about a usability study, and they were like, just the fact that y'all ask those types of questions and you think that stuff through and you're talking to the people. And they said, if it was me, it'd say name, date, and email address. Like, that's it. That's all I need to know. I just need to know the basics. I don't care about. And so it was funny to get props from somebody who I'm looking at, and I'm like, I can probably only talk to you for like maybe 30 minutes if you're going into what you're talking about. And so I love that they appreciated my work. I appreciated their work. And as we're going into the integration of AI into every company, I think that it's important to respect each person's role, and we're doing more sprints. And so the sprint is when you're saying like, okay, so the sprint, we're doing more sprints. And so it's important to understand what they need and to understand that they only need what they need. In the picture, they want to know what's going on. They need the document, but they also just need to know what you need from them, and knowing how to speak to them outside of our little conversations and our networking. But when it gets time to work, this is not, they don't have bad personalities. They're not being rude, but they're in their zone the same way you get in yours. And so much respect was built at that event for me.
Awesome.
I agree with you 100,000%, April. Like, you actually see that empathy you talked about earlier at the conference, and you get to see the interest in your craft. I mean, so much like you just said, having a bunch of badges and saying I went there wasn't enough. You get to see the industry show up and actually take a little bit of pride in their craft, and meeting, everyone that they use as a vendor, Google included, but also other conferences, how much they like to be there. So that says, okay, sorry.
The responsible ending or segue into something else in tech is entrepreneurship. That is what really turned me on to saying I could do this, is seeing some people in tech 2 years, 5 years, and then saying I have a podcast, or I have a business that I do training. I do, just manuals. I have a YouTube channel. And so that's what really excited me to say, I can do this. And again, I can go back. I know more than someone else now because I've learned more, and I can teach, all about teaching, teaching someone else.
100%. So as we segue to our next question, what would you say are some of the key challenges you faced on your journey, and how did you overcome them?
I'm going to keep going with this whole self-actualization and saying I was the biggest challenge as far as, and this is huge in tech, is networking. Deconstructing my mind to say that networking is not just what you do when you're looking for a job. Networking is what you do when you're building a community and you're serious about establishing roots in the field. And so now what you're doing is you're creating a community for yourself. So, and it's not about yourself, but it's saying that, okay, I need to learn every area of tech, and knowing that we're all constantly learning because there's a constant change happening. And so being humble, because entrepreneurs can be very proud and very self-absorbed at times, because you're nursing your baby and it's about my baby, and this opportunity is for me to tell you about, look at my new baby, and it's not,
100%.
It's not, And so I think that it's important to, when you're networking, listen and have that empathy for the person. And so thankfully, God blessed me with the child who loves Marvel and who loves, who's into tech. They have tech kids. This is the tech generation. And so I was able to connect with different people based on the things that make them smile and bring them joy. And so listening to them talk for a long period of time about those types of things allowed us to connect. And I think that networking is key. So deconstructing your mind to say it's not about me and my baby and what I'm doing, but it's just build and trust-based relationship, not just intervention, but let's say trust-based relationship investment. So now I'm investing in relationships and getting to know you.
Yeah.
And that pays down on the tech debt. You're beyond just what you guys do and use as a platform or whatever. 100%. I dig that. All right, so we're gonna lighten up even further. What would you say is your favorite coffee preference that helps you get through your day and through your journey?
So iced coffee. I'm from Texas, so I wasn't into it at first.
It's hot over there.
Yeah, I wasn't into it at first.
Different kind of hot.
It got me. So iced coffee with the extra shot of espresso.
Oh, nice. And is there any particular, like, you just in all around, that's the mix, right? No Starbucks, Dunkin', just wherever you can get
Okay,
that.
so I'm I'm an entrepreneur, so I'm gonna rock with the entrepreneurs. So I need to go in
Nice.
there, and I
Yeah.
need to go to the small
There you go.
business.
Mhm.
I
There you
need to
go.
go in there, and I need to see your fiddle leaf fig tree. I need to hear what we're rocking with on the music today. I want to sit on an old dusty couch. I need that. So when I'm
Nice.
drinking coffee. So DFW has so many different mom and pop coffee shops, and so
Yeah.
I could check out a new one. Seems like every week, and so yeah, I love. Right now, I'm at we have one called Right Rhino. I'm also going to the Firehouse Gastro Park. The coffee shop is open, and I like the different blends. But I do have to say that these Black-owned businesses like Dope Coffee, like just yet making it myself, because a part of my mental health being remote and hybrid the last 5 years is making the coffee run, is going to the environment and chatting it up a little bit at 7 a.m. Coffee shops should be open when the sun rises, I believe. And so just going early in the morning, grabbing my cup, riding out, making my ride, and then coming back and getting down to work. That's important to me. You just can't do that in these other spots. Yeah.
100%. 100%.
Yeah, that's no, I'm there with you. My preference is always more the mop and pop, the Black owned, of course, if available. But yeah, I love those. It feels more cozy, it feels more warm in those those mom and pop coffee shops.
And don't
It
have
doesn't
one of those stamps where like I get a free drink after so long. Like I'm coming here,
Right.
Yeah, they gamify it 100%. I love the gamification of it as well.
Yeah. No,
now I'm
for sure.
venturing on the other side too with again the gamification. So I'll look at certain brands in the store and see if they have an app or point system now. That's
cool.
my kind of new thing. And then now I'm actually kind of curious about this mushroom coffee trend, like we were saying in the pre-show. I'm kind of looking at my area and see who owns which shops and which mix of mushrooms they have, because I'm a little leery with Last of Us. As a gamer, I'm like, I don't know if I want mushrooms in my coffee, But I'm hearing the rise of it. Rise is one of them. I kind of stayed away from that. So I looked at my backyard and found somebody called Good Time. And so I feel comfortable with Good Time. I don't know who owns it, but I'm kind of like reconning, like you said, in my daily route. If I'm out there, if I see their shop, I'll pick something up, or if I see it at a farm, I'll pick it up. And I got one in my cupboard now that I'm kind of gonna try out.
I don't know. I listened to another podcast, and I heard that's I don't know if it's both of you. Y'all don't like all the foolishness.
That's his line. Yeah.
No foolishness in my coffee. No sugar, no cream. Keep it away.
Yeah, I'm with the foolishness. I'm with the foolishness for sure.
Yeah.
But I need a coffee maker to make my coffee, because I need you to understand that this is not chocolate milk. This is not coffee milk. I might need a splash or a dash. But I definitely, I like the espresso. I want to now my goal in life is to get to the little teacup, the little shot cup. And
pure shot espresso.
Yeah, the espresso shot. Yeah.
I'm on my way. Way.
Ascending to coffee greatness.
I'm ascending. Yeah. That's another coffee shop here. It's called Ascend.
Oh, really? Oh, I got to look that up now.
Okay.
Nice. So the other hack I'm trying to, we got from our last guest, Carlton Brooks, thank you, is he was telling us that you have to try spring water opposed to the regular water. Now, my brother has said that, and I was like, because he's my brother, I'm like, man, you don't know what you're talking about, right?
Come on
now it's kind of like the double hit, like, oh, sorry, bro, you're right. There is something about trying the spring water. And to your point, I am going to dust off this espresso machine I've had for about 2 years and use the spring water in it as the first trial by fire, because you're right. I never knew it was these little hacks to make the greatest espresso ever,
And that's the journey. I think that's just the journey with that coffee, is just growing with it and letting it hit you like it needs 100%. To hit you, do what it needs to do. It's I love it. It's my friend. Yeah.
So April, I know you mentioned about Marvel, getting a little bit into the comic area. So if you could have any superpower to help you in cybersecurity, or even specifically within UX design, what would it be and why?
This is good. Translation. I would say translation for sure. I need to be in spaces where nobody knows how I got there. but I'm there. And I want to say translation. Just
So you have to explain that. Well, so yeah,
where
translation versus teleportation. Like, what's
yeah,
translation?
exactly. Yeah. So like I'm here, and then next thing you know, I'm, in Colombia,
I like
Okay.
boom, I'm there.
So it's more like a transport, like, so you're trying to transport, like
Yeah.
transportation.
Yeah. I have to call my son and say, who is that? Who does it and what is it?
Who Alfredzo, help me out. Do you remember
I'm slipping the name too. It's in the X-Men series. I'm gonna
I was
probably
gonna
get
say
knocked. I know it's a
I'm
teleport,
thinking
but he's different
X-Men.
too, right?
He
It's
he
different,
always could appear and reappear wherever. He
right?
looked like a
I
little
mean,
demon.
if I
I
had
forget
to
what it's
pick,
called.
like I would say fly, because of course the cloud is the limit now, not the sky. In tech, you have to say the cloud is the limit.
And you're right. I like how you cleared it up, because teleportation is like you don't know where you're gonna land. Translation is like, boom, I'm right here at
I
this
need to go where I
specific.
need to go,
I
and I
like
got
that.
something I need to do when I'm there.
Yeah, I
I
like
don't
that.
know who does that, but to me, that's the superpower that I've always wanted. Besides flying, I'm not gonna lie. I've always wanted to fly. That's a fact. I like Superman. That's DC, which I'm a Marvel person, so I'm like, DC is where Gogo started. But I do like Superman. So, I like Superman. I think, the flying thing is real. So I love that. I love that aspect.
Yeah, the fly. Awesome. And lastly, are there any hobbies, interests, or recreational activities that you enjoy outside of work?
I like singing. I've always sang. I grew up in an era where if you're at church, you're a kid, you're in the choir. If you go to school, they have a choir, you're in the choir. Like, you do everything that they're affording you to do. You take that opportunity. And I've carried that with me into tech. So I like singing. I love reading. So I think in order to be an excellent and a good writer, you have to be a reader. You have to be a reader. So,
right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And what are maybe some books you have, like, that's on like your reading list right now?
How much time do we have?
Hit the top five. Hit the top five on the to be read list.
Okay, look at me.
April's top 5 reading list.
Eat the Frog.
I've heard that someone else.
I haven't. What is it?
Put it on audio.
Eat the Frog. Eat the Frog. I've heard that before.
Get your list. Do the thing you don't want to do first. Straight up. Do it, and do it till it's done. And you might have a list of 10. You do that one thing and you do it. If you're working for someone or you're working with someone, you're saying, what is it that you need me to do to make your life easier? You're not over here focusing on what you want to do. You're not over here spending time on things that don't really matter. And the more that you show that you want to assist those who are in leadership, then the more that they understand that you have that type of mindset and you can make things happen. And I think that's important even when collaborating. If I'm collaborating with someone, now I'm coming up under their vision, and then I'm going to help them get that thing done. Because the more that I do that, then the more that my stuff gets done. Because somebody's going to say, what are you working on? Eventually, that's that networking. And so Eat the Frog. I've just listened to Tony Dungy's The Quiet Strength. I'm not an audiobook girl. I'm really not, but I am, because I have to be, because, you're doing so much. But I had to revisit that because just the title, I was talking about it and it reminded me. And I feel like when you have these little things that come up, it's saying, go look at that, go revisit this. So I revisited that, and it was so timely, so humble. He was a nice guy, and they would tell him, you really can't coach your team being nice to them. You can't coach your team, working this way, but he did, and being family friendly, and he did, and he's done excellent things, and his legacy is still ongoing. And so we're talking about him now. And so I'd say that one. Let's see what else I have queued up. A book called That's Bold of You. And it just talks about being weird, embracing your weirdness, embracing the things that make you different unapologetically. And this is new, but we can do that too. And so just doing that and betting on yourself and your weirdness. So those are, I'd stop right there.
Yeah. Okay. Very nice. Yeah, as I mentioned, I've heard the first one you mentioned. I've heard that before, or a recommendation. Not sure if on the show, but I may have seen it advertised before. But I heard that was a good a good book as well. So I'm at to. I think that's probably this is my validation confirmation for me. All right, go ahead and put it in the cart.
Right, same.
So
I've never heard of that
Tracy,
one before.
Anything, no excuses. Like he's old school, and old school has a place. If you're able to say I'm old school, but also adapt to the new school, you're going to be at the top because there's the work ethic like no other, and the no excuses. There may have been some type of lack of empathy there, but it built a strong foundation, and so I'm with it. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, April, we had an amazing time with you here on the Cyber Coffee Hour. And before we close out, if you wanted to share a few words with our listeners before we head out.
Again, I want to go back to just excellence excites. So be excellent. Don't assimilate to mediocrity. Even if people aren't listening to your ideas, write them down, because once you're uncapped and they flow, they're for a certain time in your life. So keep your journal, keep you a Tech Queenz journal, and keep your ideas in that journal. Journal the journey. And when you're walking in excellence, understand that there are other people who are excellent and they'll applaud what you're doing. If you're getting things done, there's no competition, there's only collaboration. So you want to be around people who look for ways to collaborate. And so just be excellent and be ready to be alone. Like I said, write it out, write how you feel, be mindful of your emotions, but don't let them rule you. So just maintain your excellence. Find it.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you again, April, and thank you to you, those listening and watching, for joining us for another episode of the Cyber Coffee Hour, part of the Alive Podcast Network. If you enjoyed this episode, explore more engaging content in the Alive Podcast Network app. By supporting this podcast and nearly 100 other Black hosted shows, you can enjoy ad-free listening while contributing to a diverse range of voices in the podcasting space. We appreciate your support and look forward to sharing more insightful conversations with you in our next episode. Until then, keep brewing those ideas and stay curious about cybersecurity. All right, that's it. It's a wrap. We out of here. Peace.